Alright, in this video, we want to go ahead and apply the laws of indices, okay, into other complex expression. Okay, so with these basic statements here, we can apply them in resolving other complex representation, okay, into either simple ones or just another complex one, but just making use of these laws, alright? So on the first one we have here, guess which one is the first? It is this one, alright? Provided I have told you this is the first. Okay, according to the numbering anyway. This is the first, but according to the numbering, it is this one. I saw that this one was a little bit maybe simple compared to this, so I want to do this one first. Okay, when we have 1 over b to the power negative of n, well, of all this one talks about the negative power, right? So we have a to the power negative n. And whenever we have that, we're going to talk about 1 divided by a raised to the power n. So if I want to rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite it as this one is the one on top divided by, okay, so this is the one. I just put it down. This is the division. Now on the bottom, we are having b to the power negative of n, all right? I'm going to write this in blue using the definition we have here. Whenever we have a to the power negative of n, it is 1 over a raised to the power n. So here we just replace the a with the b, alright? That is just the only difference. So we're going to put it down as 1 over b raised to the power n following this pattern, alright? So at the top we still have what we had, then the bottom we are having this. Okay, so you see this as a division of fractions. The top is just 1 over 1. You can choose to call it 1 over 1, which is just 1. Then the bottom is 1 over b to the power n. We can do something about this. I can rewrite this as the numerator first, which is just 1, divided by, this division is the longest division here, the one in black, divided by, we see here to be 1 divided by b to the power n, alright? Okay, so we know that to compute these two things together, we need to take the reciprocal of this second man here, and we need to change this to multiplication. Okay, so that will give us 1 times, changing it to multiplication, we take the reciprocal or the multiplicative inverse, that is, that like that, right? So we see the one on top. In fact, let me not make it to look like the other one. Okay, so that is just it. So the one on top comes down, reciprocal. So 1 times now becomes multiplication. This was division actually. So by multiplying these guys together, you're going to see that, well, b to the power of n divided by 1 is just b to the power of n. 1 times that is just going to remain b to the power n. This tells us that this right here is the same thing as b to the power of n. Okay, very nice, alright? Well, another way we can approach this, number 1 here, is by going backwardly. We know that whenever we have 1 divided by a to some power n, all we need to do is to say a raised to the power of negative of that power n, right? So I would like to rewrite this as this one. This was 1 over b raised to the power of negative n. So let's assume it is of this form. So we will rewrite it as a raised to the power of the negative of that power. So this will be b raised to the power of the negative of that power here is negative n. This is going to become b to the power n because negative times negative is going to give us positive. So b raised to the power negative n, 1 over that, this will be b raised to the negative of the original power, which is just negative n, following this definition. Very simple like that, alright? Okay, so let's move over to the second example. Let's move over to the second exercise here, and maybe I'll just go ahead and clean this up. Okay, so for the second one, we see that a over b all raised to the power of negative of n. Well, still from the same definition, we're going to rewrite that as, since the power here is a negative 1, it's a negative power, so I'm going to put it down as 1 divided by, this is the one gotten from the statement there, divided by a. Now, you see here that in the place of a, it is being replaced as with a fraction. Okay, that will be a fraction. That fraction, right? And we raise everybody to the power of n, which is without the negative sign. All right. So this is raised to the power of n without the negative sign. Okay. Here we can see this to be, well, I know that 1 raised to the power n is the same thing as 1. So I can write this as 1 divided by a over b, everybody here raised to the power n. Right? That is it. Because even if I take 1 to be power n is the same thing as 1. So I put it down like that. And by 1 divided by the ratio 1 divided by a over b, we can write this as 1 times b over a, which is just going to give us b over a. So this right here is b over a, and we remember to take the power n. So that means that a over b raised to the power negative n is b over a raised to the power n. So you just invert these things, alright, and take the positive power. Just like taking 1 over that thing. Okay, so that was pretty simple. Let's move on to the third one, which is the last in this video. So maybe I'll just put this down for you. So this is b over a raised to the power of n, like that. Okay, so let's look at this other one, the last one here. Well, at the top, I can write this down as, let me put it down. At the top, I would like to write this down as 1 over a raised to the power n from the definition. And on the bottom, I'll put this down as 1 over b raised to the power m. Alright? Just like that. So this is that, this one is this one. So maybe I just take this again. 1 over a raised to the power n divided by 1 over b raised to the power m. So maybe you just go ahead and change this to multiplication a little bit. And we're going to have 1 over a raised to the power n times, here we're going to change things. We're going to have b to the power m over 1. So b to the power m times 1 is going to give us b to the power m on the top. And on the bottom, a raised to the power n times 1 is just a raised to the power of n. So this shows that this right here is equal to b raised to the power m over a raised to the power n. So this should just tell you what immediately we are having negative in the power is going to turn our things, alright? So this becomes the down and this goes up without the negative in their powers. Okay, so that is very nice. And that right there was for you, and that is what you get. Okay, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.